It's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. It's time for another episode of Life in the Movies podcast. It's live, and we're in a new month. We are officially in the month of August. It's time for the August 2023 preview. Want to thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joining me, as always, the great and powerful Jacob Martin. Jacob, how you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good, Ryan. It's always a blessing to hop on your channel to do the Life in the Movies podcast every week. Even more special when we do it live, doing these monthly previews. I've enjoyed that change of format since we've changed it, and I'm excited to talk about some new releases.
Yeah, we've already got my man Aaron White, Ron White, in the house. Greetings and salutations, y'all. Greetings, Aaron. You know, it's funny that Aaron is the first one to comment because it kind of parlays into the housekeeping section. I want to thank everyone that checked out episode 1 on the channel of the Small Talk podcast that I'm doing with Jake Collins from 3D Movie Cinema and Matt Wyatt from his YouTube channel. I had a great time recording that first episode, and I'm looking forward to having that be part of the going rotation here on the channel because, well, let's just say there are 10 seasons of Smallville, so it's going to be around a while. But all the feedback I've received has been very positive, so I want to thank you all for checking it out. I want to thank Jacob and Matt for joining me on this venture because they're the super fans. I'm the noob, so I'm just reacting to it for the first time. But it was just so much fun to do. And like I was telling Jacob Martin before we were jumping on live, this changes nothing about Life in the Movies. Life in the Movies is going to continue on as normal, whether in its pre-recorded form or its live form like this every month. It's just another thing that I'm doing. I'm kind of, I don't know, I think I'm like kind of, it's kind of weird, Jacob, and I guess we can talk about this if we want to, but I'm just kind of getting tired of talking about like the new stuff coming out. I'm just kind of slowly falling out of love with it, and I'm just really getting into doing more Road 2 series and more, let's say, podcasts like Life in the Movies and more like Smallville. I'm really passionate about doing those things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's just with the Barbenheimer stuff, it got real old real quick, and it just got a lot. So I'm thinking maybe slightly tweaking the direction of the channel, maybe a little bit away from talking about newer stuff. Like reviews aren't going away per se, but maybe just like more in a direction of talking about stuff that I'm a fan of rather than I'm seeing this in a theater, ergo I must review it. So I don't know. It's just been a can I've been kicking down the road, if you will.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from because I think as YouTubers and creators, we have that feeling of burnout. I know a lot of people, they feel like they're obligated to see the new movie because it's popular to talk about the new movie. But as far as, my situation, being at school, I don't have near as much money to go see a new movie every week. I have to be more pick and choosy on which ones I want to talk about in the channel and which ones I have to wait. And I think the method you're going with, if you're burned out by it, it's not a bad direction to take.
Yeah, like I said, I'm 2 episodes deep into my rewatch of Saw, like Saw 1 and 2, and I already have like mental notes in my head to prepare for it. So it's like, that's going great. I'm now 6 episodes deep into season 1 of Smallville, and I love that show to pieces already. Kind of peek behind the curtain in preparation. Scary Mania 4 that list is pretty much done now. I'm just beginning the preparation of actually watching the movies and preparing for that. In the month of November, kind of peeking behind the curtain a little bit, as to prepare for Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese film. I can't do a full Road 2 where I review every Scorsese film. There's just not enough time in the window between Killers of the Flower of the Moon, or the Killers of the... What did I just... Killers of the Flower Moon and now. So in the month of November, I'm going to be doing a series where I review 4 Scorsese movies, 4 of which being ones I've always wanted to watch, and I've narrowed it down to, and they're all first-time watches. I've narrowed it down to The King of Comedy, Casino. What was the other one? Oh shoot, the Departed, and The Wolf of Wall Street, because I haven't seen any of those, and so I figured that'll give me a good snapshot of who Scorsese is as a director from the '80s, the '90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. So that's coming in November, and then in December is Christmania, my big Christmas series, and that's all stuff that I'm generally really excited to dive into. So, algorithmically, will this hurt me? More than likely, sure, but it's stuff that I'm gonna really enjoy talking about, and that's really what's gonna matter to me at the end. Speaking of Jacob Collins, he is here. Hey guys, you just said small talk, and it summoned me here. Who the hell is this? You cheating on me and Matt with the other podcast? LOL, JK. This is my favorite podcast to listen to. Life in the Movies rock. Well, thank you, Jacob. That means an awful lot. But yeah, let's housekeeping aside, one last piece before we do jump into the Iron Fist talk. This coming Friday, like I mentioned, the road to Saw 10 will be beginning here on the channel. I'll be talking about the original Saw, and Jacob Martin will be joining me. Yes, Jacob, I'm going to Preacher School Martin watch the Saw movie and is going to be joining me for this review. And if you've seen his Letterboxd or his Facebook, you will know that he actually really enjoyed the movie. But the rest of his thoughts will be in the video on Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the final video, and I'm just as shocked as you guys. I enjoyed the Saw movie.
Yeah, well, the grandstanding and hot dogging is over now. I think it is time to dive into the episode itself, starting off with some Iron Fist talk. Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 10. And yeah, it was definitely rough to go back to this show 6 episodes deep into Smallville. Let's just say those two shows are miles apart in terms of quality. That's all I will say. But diving into Season 1, Episode 10, called Black Tiger Steals Heart. Again, keeping up with the trend of the titles to these episodes are more fun than the episodes themselves. Exhausted from fighting, Danny tries to recharge with Bakuto's help. Meanwhile, Rand's management gets another shakeup. And Jacob, when we got another shakeup at Rand, is like, this company has got to be like the worst. Like, it's got to be like Enron levels of bad, like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just look at him and be like, "Here goes Rand again, doing Rand things." But before I get into my thoughts, Jacob, what did you think? Season 1, Episode 10 of Iron Fist.
I guess kind of like keeping the grand tradition of some of these recent Iron Fist episodes. There's stuff I liked in it, but then there's stuff that frustrated me. The stuff with Danny Rand, I enjoyed. I enjoyed this intriguing place where he learned how to heal and be part of the learn more about the Iron Fist. And I had a feeling Bakuto was up to something. I kind of sensed that from the start, that he was not what he seemed to be, but I don't think I put 2 and 2 together that Bakuto and his group is actually the Hand. I would not have put that together, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if I like the direction they were going with that, but it led to a pretty good fight scene at the very, very end. The stuff I did not like, the fact that you had this whole twist about the Hand and Colleen being somehow part of it. The argument between them was very forced. And not that I was a fan of them as a couple to begin with. The development of that I thought was forced, but them breaking up I thought was very forced, and to me was a petty way of doing cheap drama on the show. And then we go back to the Rand Company stuff with Joy and her dad and all that. And as much as I like David Wenham and as much as that character had potential, in the early episodes. The more it cuts back to that, I'm just like, I don't care about this crap. Let's get back to the Iron Fist. This is getting to be like a very stupid subplot that I just have no interest in. So, all in all, it's another frustrating episode.
Yeah, for real. And it just like you were talking about, keeps up the trend of just being like anything revolving the Meachums is boring, 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 boring. But anything involving Danny and the Hand is honestly quite interesting. I feel like Finn Jones, the old adage goes, I believe it was a song, she got the gold mine and I got the shaft. Well, let's just say the Meachums got the gold mine in this show, and Danny Rand got the shaft, or at least these actors. Because I feel like Finn Jones, if he were given much better material, he would be taking this football and running with it. But instead of giving him like a fully inflated like Wilson football, he's got like a flat and flappy like little like JV football that's wet from the rain, and it just kind of goes every once in a while. And it's like you figure it out. It's like I kind of feel bad for the guy because he by far and away is the star of the worst of the Marvel Netflix shows. But I feel like there are genuine kernels of they could have done something good with this, but no, that's not what we got.
Yeah, and I feel like we're kind of repeating a broken record with every episode, but it's one of those where it's like that guy from Rogue One that Sean Chandler pokes fun of in his videos. Like, we were on this verge of greatness, we were this close,
Exactly.
but you cut so short in the process.
Well, Jacob Collins has gotten a bunch of comments, and the road to Saw X should be called What I Saw. That'd be interesting.
I kind of like that.
Smallville is like a nice hot bath, while Iron Fist is like a hot bucket of piss. I could not agree with you more on that, Jacob Collins. You might as well just emblazon that comment on a banner. The showrunner of Iron Fish.
I bet Iron Fish is a better show, probably. That's a sad thing.
Iron Fist. Season 1 was also the showrunner for the Marvel show Inhumans. Oh, no.
Oh,
that show. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, the MCU has its first dud. Turns out it wouldn't be the last.
Didn't that first episode they premiered on like IMAX screens thinking it was going to be amazing?
Yeah, you all can't see it, but I have a poster hanging up here of the IMAX screening I went to with my dad. So, yeah, I have living proof that I was there for it. And even I was like, yeah, I wasted my money. Aaron White, I promise season 2 is better. Well, Aaron, you've got good taste, my friend. So I'm going to hold out and I'm going to take your word for it because Jacob and I, we are going to work our way through all of the Marvel Netflix shows. Defenders is next up on the docket, and then Daredevil season 3 and the rest of them. So going to take your word for it because your standards are high. But yeah, this has been the most feeling of work, like when it comes to this podcast. Like we're watching these episodes, just been like it's felt like a slog.
Yeah, I don't think I've struggled this much to catch up on a Marvel show since She-Hulk.
Ooh.
but Iron Fist is still better than She-Hulk. At least Iron Fist doesn't work with Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. Hemorrhoids is better than Iron Fish. Dang it, Jacob, again. But yeah. But we've only got 2 or 3 episodes left, so we've come this far, we might as well finish it out. But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 10? Let us know in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Well, Jacob, it's main event time. It is time for the August 2023 preview. Now, this is the last month of the summer movie season. Now, I know you haven't seen a ton of movies, current movies, because of your school schedule. Seen Oppenheimer yet?
I have not seen Oppenheimer yet. No.
Oh, dude, it's so good. You got to see it.
Yeah, it's on my radar. You know, I want to see that. I'm a big Nolan fan.
No, I get it. I understand the struggle, but just yeah, coming out of this summer, it was just kind of depressing, low key. Just so many movies just dropping like flies, like Flash, Indiana Jones. It just went like like a plane flying into the side of a mountain. And I don't think Hollywood's going to find the black box, even if there's literally a big arrow pointing to the actual black box.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to
Oh,
work.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
And to me, it's fascinating. Like the movies that you expect to be genuine hits, like your Indiana Jones and the Flash, were like some of the movie's biggest flops. And then the movies that were like the surprise hits was like the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer, and then Sound of Freedom was like a big surprise, unexpected surprise hit that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, Sound of Freedom is making bank. Like the story of that movie is just the story of the movie itself in the movie is fascinating, but also like the story of it beating Indiana Jones on 4th of July weekend and then beating Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I mean, that's just like if I were the head of Angel Studios, I would just be like, yeah, we did that. Like I would be like, you couldn't remove the smile from my face even with plastic surgery. Aaron's back. Applying hemorrhoid cream to someone you don't like is better than Iron Fist. Man, we're all just like roasting the hell out of this shit. The Sound of Freedom should get a sequel called Sound of Freedom 2 Even More Free. then it would be Sound of Freedom 3 The Most Freedom.
And then the fourth one would be Sound of Freedom 4. The more freedom, the freer you are, or something.
Freedom Forever with like a letter with the number
Yes,
4.
that's even better.
Drew from The View with Drew is here. Hey everyone, what's up? Hello, Drew. Good to see you. You made it just in time. We're just about to dive into the August 2023 movies, and yeah, summer movie season. I think it's going to go down in history. Like when like our kids are going to ask us like, "Hey, Dad, what was it like to go through the summer 2023 movie season?" Sit down, son. Let us tell you all about. Like it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Jacob again. Sound of Freedom, 3D free.
Let's go save the kids in 3D.
Oh man, but yeah, let's one last question before we dive into the movies themselves, Jacob. For the month of August, was there anything in particular that stuck out to you as like if you had the choice, you would definitely go and see it?
There was not that many that's coming out in August where I'm like, yes, I gotta stop everything I'm doing and see this new movie pronto. But there's a couple that I'm like, I think it's got potential. There's like, I will say there's no fives in my August preview.
Interesting.
The highest I think I gave one, I think anticipation wise is a 4. Spoiler alert.
Oh well, that I eagerly anticipate to see which one you gave a 4 to. But let us dive in. First of all, starting with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. The film follows the Turtle brothers as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. Now, this is coming from Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. I'm not a big fan of that production team. They produced Office Christmas Party, one of the worst Christmas movies I've ever seen, personally. A very disgusting movie. However, and I'm not a big fan of Seth Rogen personally. I think he has one note and a laugh, like a one note joke and a laugh, and that's all. But as of this stream, this movie has gotten a lot of very good reviews, and so I'm willing to give this one a chance. Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, this is an interesting perspective going in because I'm not like a diehard fan of the Ninja Turtles. In fact, the only Ninja Turtle film I've seen is the original 90s film that was live action. Not that the movie's bad. I actually think it's a fun movie, but it's just not something I have any real nostalgia for. Like I didn't grow up watching the cartoons or reading the comics or playing the video games or anything like that. It's just something I've seen on the side, and I've seen the original movie, and it's pretty good. I'm I'm not like clamoring to see this movie, but I will say I do like the animation style in this trailer. Uh, they're clearly taking the Spider Verse approach with the animation, and I think that's a good thing. I like that they're applying that with the Ninja Turtles. I think this film's going to be a fun movie, and I think the teenage aspect to me is what's fascinating too, because I'm no Ninja Turtles expert, but I've seen the original movie, and those turtles sound like grown dudes pretending to play teenagers. I can't really fully buy them as teenagers. Whereas,
Very much Steve Buscemi with the backwards hat and the skateboard going, "How do you do, fellow kids?" Like that kind of energy.
yeah, exactly, but like that meme. Now this one, they got like teenage actors to play the turtles, and it shows when watching the trailer. It's like some of these kids they cast, I don't think have gone through puberty yet, and I'm like, well, that sounds like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me. I think they're finally done their homework on that. So I think out of anything, I think this might actually win over maybe non-fans of the Ninja Turtles. I hope that's the case. I'm not clamoring to see this movie, but it's cool to see that it is getting well received, and I hope it's another fun animated movie that's coming out this year. So this is one of my 4 out of 5 ones. I think this one actually looks pretty solid.
You know what? I'm going to go 3.5, and I'm giving it only the 3.5 because I'm not a big Ninja Turtles guy. I'm chalking this up as a pleasant surprise, and I hope that I am right about that. But Drew, with a question: what's a movie you felt a female character was treated and represented horribly? Some of the movies I've seen Margot Robbie, Florence Pugh, and Ana de Armas in have treated them like eye candy. Jay,
I
do you
can't
have any
vouch
examples?
for I can't vouch for all those actresses, but I know I've not seen this movie and I don't have any intent to. But it felt like Ana de Armas in the movie Blonde. I felt like was represented horribly because if you look up the story, the director only cast Ana de Armas because he wanted to see her naked, pretty much, and that's not the way to go to make a Marilyn Monroe movie.
I've not seen the movie, but I remember distinctly this movie called Mommy Dearest is about Joan Crawford and how apparently she was like a kind of an abusive parent. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but the clips I've seen have been pretty horrible. So I don't know. Maybe that might be my example. But last one for me, guys. But first off, F you, Ryan. Office Christmas Party is awesome. No, it's not. Second, I agree on Seth Rogen. Third, Liam Neeson's speed rip-off Retribution. It might be the best one this August. Well, we'll get to Retribution in just a bit. Life in the Movies will one day get its porn parody adaptation, Life at the Booby. Take care, you guys. See you tomorrow, Ryan. Love you guys. Yeah, that's a fun comment I get to ask it.
Yeah, that's I won't be associated with that account.
Yeah, we'll definitely be pleading the fifth on that one, Jacob. But next up is coming out this weekend along with TMNT is Meg 2: The Trench. A research team encounters multiple threats while exploring the depths of the ocean, including a malevolent mining operation. So IMDb is giving this movie way too much credit. It's basically Jason Statham versus several giant sea creatures. And honestly, I'm here for it. I liked the first Meg movie because I understood exactly what it was. It was essentially Jason Statham against a massive shark. I don't know what you all expected, but what I expected was Jason Statham against a giant shark, and that's what I got. And I feel like this is going to be more of the same, Jacob. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually do like the first Meg. I enjoyed it for what it was, like this dumb, fun action movie with Jason Statham and the shark. This one looks more the same, but I feel like considering how long it's been since we've had the first one came out back in 2018. I feel like this movie is several years too late, and I think the novelty of Jason Statham fighting a shark might have worn off by now. I don't think this movie. I can't see this making a bank at the box office. I think it looks kind of schlocky fun for what it is. Like there's stuff in the trailers that kind of crack me up, but I don't think it's kind of offering kind of more of the same without any real twists to the angle. So I don't think this one's going to be as memorable as the first Meg, but I guess we'll see how it goes. For now, I'm going to go 3 on it.
Yeah, I'll go 3 as well, and really it's only because, I mean, Jason Statham, giant shark. I mean, like, sign me up for that. But yeah, I was thinking if this movie came out in like 96, 97, 98, it would have been directed by Roland Emmerich at the very least. Because this is like up his alley right here. Independence Day, Godzilla, Stargate, like that's him right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Drew's back. I hope those 3 actresses don't get cast in a werewolf movie so they can be treated like eye candy, kind of like the zoo scene from American Werewolf in London.
Okay, that's
interesting. But yeah, let's take a hard left from Jason Statham and the giant shark to a very much different kind of movie called Dreamin' Wild. Musical duo Donnie and Joe Emerson spend everything they have to produce a record in the 1970s. So, Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, it's interesting because we get these music biopics every year. And it's getting to the point where most of them feel tired and worn out to me. Like I didn't see the Aretha one because it looked more the same, and the Whitney Houston one looked vanilla as crap. Even though I like Whitney Houston, and when I saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning the other week, there was an ad for this Bob Marley biopic, and it kind of looked more the same to me as well. But this movie, I think, is a bit different. This one does have my interest. I think it's because we're dealing with artists I've never heard of before. It's this brother duo who recorded an album in the 70s, was forgotten about, and years later, with the brothers grown up, there's a renewed appreciation for their music. And it's, I think, being done at a time when I think there's tension between the family or whatever, from what I saw in the trailer. And because I don't know this story, I think this one has potential to be really great, actually. And not to mention, you got Casey Affleck playing one of the brothers in his adulthood, and he's a really good actor. So this one, I think, has more potential compared to some of the recent biopics we've been getting. So I have a little bit of hope in this movie, and I'm going to go 4.
Really? I didn't think you'd go so high on that. I'm going to go 3. And at first, when I watched this, I was like, is this like a fictional kind of music biopic, kind of like A Star is Born? But no, it's actually true. So I'm going to go 3. Casey Affleck is good in most things. Who's the dude? I forget his name from the... it's like not Waylon, but it's the... I'm going to look it up because it's going to bother me. Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins is the other brother, and I like him in most things. As also Zooey Deschanel is in it, and Chris Messina is in it, and I like both of those actors. Aaron's back. My favorite music biopic still remains La Bamba. Lou Diamond Phillips sold me on Richie Valens. Yeah. Actually, have not seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either, but now that it's entered the chat, the biopic I love the most is Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Johnny Cash. Yeah. That movie is amazing.
That one is very good indeed. Like the opening scene where it starts out with with the band playing in Folsom Prison, and it's the slow, like you start outside the prison and then you move slowly in, and then you hear all the prisoners like stamping their feet and clapping their hands, and you see Johnny Cash in the back, and he's like doing the thing with the saw and like reminiscing, like as the Walk Hard movie that came out shortly after that, the parody movie is like that Dewey Cox must remember his entire life before he plays, doing the whole Johnny Cash must remember his whole life before he plays, but it's symbolically remembering his brother who unfortunately passed away, and then everything that leading up to that moment. And then that Folsom Prison scene is just so epic where he's like this yellow water, I salute you, and then he slams it down and then he starts singing Cocaine Blues, and it's excellent.
Yeah, I love that movie. Him and Reese Witherspoon both are excellent in that movie.
Oh, my man Jeremiah's in the chat. Hello, Jeremiah. Hi, Ryan. I'm surprised to see porn parodies mentioned in the chat, but I'll take it. Let's spend the rest of the stream discussing Wood Rocket. That's a porn parody company. This is not a cinema,
No,
this
I'd
is not
rather
a, this is not a cinema snob video, Jeremiah. Let's keep things a little PG. I really need to see I Walk the Line. It sounds amazing. See it. See it, Jeremiah. That's your homework assignment.
do it now.
What he said. But let's move on now to shortcomings. A trio of young Bay Area urbanites, Ben Tanaka, Miko Hayashi, and Alice Kim, as they navigate a range of interpersonal relationships, traversing the country in search of the ideal connection. So, Jacob, start with you. What did you think?
Yeah, this one didn't look appealing to me. Like, there's potential in it. Like, there's, I guess, a decent idea in there, but it just didn't look like the appealing comedy to me. Not too much of the humor landed in the when I was at least watching the trailer. Randall Park's a talented actor, though, so it's cool to see that he's now directing a film. And maybe if I do watch it, I'll check and see how good he is as a director. But this one just did not really do much for me, at least when I watched the trailer, and I'm only going to go 2.5 on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2. I feel like if I do see it, because I feel like this is one we'll just like go to Orlando and nowhere else in Florida. But I feel like I might not be able to see this one, but if I do, I just feel like it'll be just kind of there. But well, let's move right along to, I believe, easily will be the weirdest of the movies that we talk about this evening, called Corner Office. As Orson, the authorities' newest employee, finds himself trapped in the absurdities of corporate life, his alienation deepens when he discovers a room he's told doesn't exist. So, Jacob, we have entered the Twilight Zone with this movie. What did you think?
Yeah, this one is odd to me because I like John Hamm, and then the premise. When I first watched the trailer, I was getting into it, but then the more it was diving into it, I'm like, where are we going with this, one? And two, the way they're going about it and what they're hinting at just in the trailer, I'm like, this looks super pretentious to me. And those type of movies tend to catch me off guard, where it's like artsy for the sake of being artsy. And this one looked like it was going to be one of those that was joining that ranks. When I saw the trailer, it gave me vibes of this film I saw on Netflix several years ago called "I'm Thinking of Ending Things." I think Charlie Kaufman, I think, was who made that movie. And
yeah, I know the movie you're talking about.
I did not care for that movie. I kind of hated that movie because of how weirdly pretentious it was and how it was doing its themes, and but just being artsy for the sake of being artsy. And those movies tend to get on my nerves. So because of that, I'll give it a little bit of leeway because John Hamm's a good actor. But this one's not doing much for me, and I'm only going to go 2 on it.
Yeah, I'll go 2.5 because I think I like John Hamm maybe a little more than you do. but I feel like I'm being generous with that. I feel like someone watched Office Space and be like Office Space if it was made by A24. I could have sworn that this is going to be an A24 movie, but it turns out no, it's not. But moving things along now. Next up is The Passenger. A man is forced to face his fears and confront his troubled past. He must find a way to survive when his coworker snaps and goes on a violent killing spree. So, what'd you think, Jacob?
First off, I was disappointed when I saw the trailer where it says you can either buy or rent this movie. I'm like, really? Like, why isn't this one going to theaters? I think that's a little concerning for one thing because we're in 2023. COVID's put to rest. Theaters are in full capacity. Why are we doing this buy or rent crap like it's 2020? That I don't get. But all that aside, this does look interesting. We're dealing with a guy being held hostage while his coworker snaps. It was pretty intense when watching the trailer. With the whole buy or rent thing, I don't know how accessible it is to watch the movie and check it out for myself, but it does look interesting at least, and I'm curious about what the character study will be like for a movie like this. So I'm going to go just for curiosity. I'm going to go 3.5.
I'm gonna go 3. I was gonna go 3.5 too, but then knocking it down to 3 because I feel like the movie might have been spoiled for me in the comments of the YouTube video. I won't say it on the stream in case any of you are interested in watching it, but basically, if you've seen the movie Fight Club, the commenter was alluding to something like that, and I'll leave it to you to put 2 and 2 together on that. But I don't know. Might be good, but just, yeah, it's weird. They were advertising it's going to be on MGM Plus. I had no idea that was going to be a thing, but there we go. Jeremiah's back. I'll be sure to do my homework. Also, have you seen Barbie, Ryan? If not, will you see it soon? Any thoughts? I don't know. I feel like I may have to see it eventually, but I have not had the chance to, and I definitely feel a little left out. But Jacob, you seeing Barbie? We gonna review it?
I haven't seen Barbie yet. I haven't been in the Barbieheimer craze just yet. I wasn't that super hyped on Barbie with that whole weird marketing that it had. I feel like because of the conversations that it spawned, that we'll have to check the movie out at some point. But it's just not one I've been in a huge mad rush to see.
Yeah, it's kind of made me excited for it, but also kind of killed it because the worst instincts of film Twitter have been like brought to the surface again because of this movie, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I'll just wait until the library gets it, and then I'll watch it then. But moving right along now, let's get into, honestly, a movie I'm actually kind of looking forward to in Gran Turismo. Based on the unbelievable, inspiring true story of a team of underdogs, a struggling working class gamer, a failed former race car driver, and an idealistic motorsport executive who risk it all to take on the most elite sport in the world. So I have now seen this trailer about 50,000 times because it's attached to pretty much everything I've seen for the past like month and a half. But honestly, I think it looks kind of good. It's kind of giving me October Sky vibes, which is a severely underrated biopic directed by Joe Johnston, the director of Captain America, The First Avenger, and starring a very young Jake Gyllenhaal. So I feel like Gran Turismo might be giving me those kind of vibes. Jacob, what did you think?
First off, I'll agree with Ryan. October Sky is a great movie. Go check it out if you haven't already. Every time I've seen the trailer for Gran Turismo, this movie confuses me because this movie, they say it's based on a true story, yet it's also a video game adaptation. So I don't know how those two intertwine. It's like I don't I don't know if this story is actually a true story or it's a loose story. I don't know. But I'm like, why are you doing this promoting a movie that's a video game? I don't fully understand that. But visually, this movie looks really cool. Like it sounds like the racing scenes are all done practically, and I have to give the director credit for that. I think isn't it Neil Blomkamp who's directing Gran Turismo?
Yes.
And yeah, he's a hit and miss director, but he has good visual looking movies. I really enjoyed District 9, but this movie hasn't fully won me over because I'm confused on the direction of the film, but I'm hoping it's at least watchable at least. So I'm going to go 3 on it. I just need to fully understand like what the direction of this movie is going. That's what I don't get.
I'm going a big ol' 4 on this one, and I feel like I can see the confusion, Jacob, but I think it's also the video game is being used as a vehicle because the main character plays the game, and there's a contest where you have to be basically the Gran Turismo expert, and if you're really good at it in the car, then it's a parlay into the actual racing world. I feel like that is it. But racing sports movies are kind of a severely underrated genre because you got Ron Howard's Rush, you got Ford v Ferrari from James Mangold, another James Mangold movie along with Walk the Line. You got Grand Prix, you got Le Mans, which both of those movies are fantastic from the 60s. And then you got, I can't remember other ones, but there's a pretty prevalent racing subgenre. Days of Thunder, that's what I was thinking of. That one is a lot of fun too.
Or if you want a more comedic spin, watch Talladega Nights. That movie's awesome.
There you go. That's another good one. Aaron's back. My 10-year-old daughter said Barbie looked cringe. God bless her. Yeah. God bless your daughter, Aaron. Bless her. Jeremiah, Fight Club is a brutal but truly quite good movie. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, Fight Club's pretty good. But we can't talk about it.
No, we surely can't. But let's move right along. Same weekend as Gran Turismo is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. A crew sailing from Carpathia to England find that they are carrying very dangerous cargo. So, in case you all didn't catch it, this movie is the latest entry into the I Can't Believe It's Not Dracula cinematic universe, or the ICBINDCU. Just rolls right off the tongue. It's a universe that also includes Renfield and that also includes Renfield and shoot, what was the other one? It was the I can't remember the other entry, but I made a joke about it, and it was a trilogy. But
is it that Dracula movie that came out several years ago with Luke Evans?
No, The Invitation. That's what it was. It was The Invitation.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like I'm being slightly harsh with this movie, but I mean, it's very clearly a Dracula movie, and I just wish that they would like just be out front with it. Like, it's a Dracula movie. Like, it is what it is. It's literally the voyage from Dracula from Carpathia to when he buys Carfax Abbey, and he goes to England to finally settle in and, well, unleash hell. So I don't know what the smoke and mirrors of The Last Voyage of the Demeter, I don't know what that's all about. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you think of this?
First off, I'm pretty sure in the trailer I watched for this, Dracula was mentioned in it. So I think they have kind of alluded that this is a Dracula movie. But the way they've marketed it is weird. Why are you trying to make this a surprise? If you're trying to make a new Dracula movie, embrace that it's a Dracula movie. And
they literally say in the original Dracula movie, Dracula says, I have chartered a ship that will take us to England. We leave tomorrow evening. So, like, what's the surprise here, guys? Come on.
Yeah, he travels on a boat and then kills all the people on board while doing it. So that's like a no-brainer. But even just the whole like aesthetic of this film, I mean, you're doing a Dracula movie, but it just looks too nice and glossy for a Dracula movie. And I'm like, I don't get what you're trying to go with this visually, but I'm not really a fan of it just in the trailer. But I don't know. This just looks like a weird project. I'm only going to go 2.5 on it.
This is the same director who directed Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Which is a movie that I quite enjoyed.
I like that movie. I don't know.
You will never look at scarecrows the same way ever again.
Yeah, that movie. Yeah, Scary Stories was a pretty good one. I hope this doesn't pigeonhole the guy because, uh, or if anything, it shows that maybe Guillermo del Toro was the brainchild of that movie, and it's kind of hard doing something without him.
Yeah, it's kind of like the past two Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ones, the one from 2014 and the one Out of the Shadows. They were directed by Simon West, when in reality, like Michael Bay produced those things. He had to have something to do with it.
Yeah, or it's kind of like, oh, what's that one guy? It was this that James McTeague was the guy who directed V for Vendetta, but the Wachowskis had their hands all over that film.
For sure, for sure. Aaron's back. What are your favorite Dracula-based movies? Well, I'm a sucker for the OG Dracula starring Bela Lugosi. I'm a big fan of the Christopher Lee Hammer Dracula series, Horror of Dracula, Dracula Prince of Darkness, Taste the Blood of Dracula, Dracula 80 1972, Scars of Dracula, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, and The Satanic Rites of Dracula. They were all released from the late 50s to the early 70s from Hammer Studios based out of England. Basically turned Christopher Lee into a horror icon. There's an entire generation of people who only know Christopher Lee because of Saruman and Count Dooku, not dissing on those roles. I mean, those roles are awesome. But Christopher Lee, for my money, some of his finest work was when he was working with Hammer as Dracula. But yeah, Bela Lugosi, OG Dracula, the Hammer series Dracula, and comedic side, I love the Hotel Transylvania movies. I know it's Adam Sandler. Don't look down on me too harshly, but I love all of those movies. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen all the Dracula movies that you have, Ryan. I've definitely not seen every Hammer movie. I've seen maybe the original one with Christopher Lee, but I think for my money, I think my favorite is the one with Bela Lugosi is probably my favorite.
Jeremiah, I've seen the Dracula ballet. That was actually fairly good. A ballet, really?
Dracula has a ballet. Does
I
Dracula stand on his tippy toes and go, "Oh, I'm Dracula, and I'm on my tippy toes, going to suck your blood
I mean,
tonight."
with the right company, I'm sure they might be able to pull it off. But let's move on now to the latest offering from Netflix, Heart of Stone. An intelligence operative for a shadowy global peacekeeping agency raced to stop a hacker from stealing its most valuable and dangerous weapon. So yeah, you might as well this feels like derivative of a derivative of a derivative. I mean, could be fun though. I mean, Jacob, what say you?
Oh man, this one is kind of frustrating. I like Gal Gadot. The action looks fun in the trailer, but I've seen Netflix movie after Netflix movie where it feels like they're just kind of overlapping each other with how generic they are. Like this just reminded me of The Gray Man all over again. Like The Gray Man was a movie
Yeah,
that had such great potential, great cast, but it was generic, disposable, and boring as sin. And this movie, I feel like is probably going to fall in the same trap. And the weirdest thing, you talk about this like the little stone thing that causes chaos. That brought like Wonder Woman 84 vibes when I watched the trailer. I don't know if
yeah,
you got that comparison or not. I don't hate Wonder Woman 84 as much as everybody else. I think that movie knew what type of movie it was trying to make with the direction it was going for. But I think if you want a story like that, that's suited for a comic book movie where you can get a little crazy and a little bit campy. This is like supposed to be based in reality, and when you're trying to do it in a movie with that's like no superheroes or anything like that, then it looks stupid.
yeah. Uh, Goodbye, Ryan. Dinner time. I promise I'm not leaving because you like some Adam Sandler movies. I want to see them actually, the Hotel Transylvania movies. Well, Jeremiah, thank you for stopping by. It's always nice to see you.
Yeah, the Hotel Transylvania movies get way too much hate. Like people tend to dismiss them just because of Adam Sandler, but those movies are actually really funny, and it's some of
Yeah,
his best work as a comedian.
they see it's Adam Sandler and all of his friends, and people turn their noses at it. They're like, yeah, the Grown Ups movies were not great, but the Hotel Transylvania movies actually use these comedians for their talents and their prevalent comedic talents to the best of their ability.
Yeah, but going back to Heart of Stone, I'm gonna go 2.5 on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go two. I like Gal Gadot as an actress. I feel like she could give some life to this, but I feel like you could put this like in any universe, like Bourne universe, Mission Impossible universe, and it would just kind of blend in. I feel like if you want to go super serious spy stuff, like American spy stuff, you go the Jason Bourne route, the Bourne trilogy. Or if you want to go like something like maybe over the top, but still retaining seriousness, Mission Impossible. I feel like the overly serious like spy movie is just like you either do it right or you don't do it at all. And I feel like they're trying to do the overly serious one, and I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
But let's move on now to from Netflix to Amazon Red, White, and Royal Blue. When the son of the American president and Britain's prince public feud threatens to drive a wedge in U.S. British relations, the two are forced into a staged truce that sparks something deeper. So, like I said, this is the latest from Amazon Prime. Jacob, what did you think?
Yeah, this did nothing for me. The whole time I was watching the trailer, I was like, uh, they're gonna fall in love. They're gonna fall in love. They're gonna fall in love, and I'm like, if that's something you're into, I'm not gonna judge you for that. But this just looked like a cringy fan fiction to me, and that it just did nothing for me. And I don't have real high interest in seeing this one. I'm only gonna go 1.5 on it.
I'm gonna go two. I feel like there was some moments there where it was like, all right, that had potential, and this is based off of a fairly popular book, so I'm gonna give it that. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like this one is just gonna be very blink and you miss it. But
Yeah.
Aaron's back.
The only thing I got out of the trailer was, hey, it's good to see Uma Thurman in something.
That's true. That's very true. Adam Sandler had a string of hits that I love: Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, and Mr. Deeds, all solid. My actual favorite rom-com is The Wedding Singer. Yeah, Happy Gilmore is awesome, and Happy Gilmore slander will not be tolerated. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Aaron, you slandered it. I'm just saying, in general, Happy Madison's or Happy Gilmore slander will not be tolerated because that movie is fun.
I haven't seen a lot of Adam Sandler's early comedies because I think I've seen more duds from Adam Sandler. But I will say one I did like was 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore. That one was not bad.
Yeah, well, let's move right along now to Jules. Milton lives a quiet life of routine in a small western Pennsylvania town, but finds his day upended when a UFO and its extraterrestrial passenger crash land in his backyard. You know, the normal things that happen on a Wednesday. But, Jacob, what did you think?
Okay, this one's kind of a mixed bag for me because I like Ben Kingsley. It's good to see him in more work. And this looks like a sweet movie. But then you see the alien, and the alien looks horrifying. I don't know if they're doing like, I think it's a person in makeup, but even that, I'm just like, it just has this uncanny valley filter all over it that just took me out of the movie. And this is supposed to be like this sweet, kind of like a grown up version of what E.T. did, I guess. An old guy bonding with an alien and befriending it. And I guess regaining humanity, I guess that's what we're going with this. But you got to at least give at least something to make you get into the pond. And it was not there in the trailer. So that kind of took me out of it. But you know what? For Ben Kingsley and the fact that he might be able to salvage this movie, or I might get used to the design when I watch the movie in context. I guess I'll go 3 on it, but man, I did not like that design. I'm glad it wasn't on the poster, or else I would have said something then and there.
The design kind of looked like Jacob. Have you ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, I have seen that movie.
Kind of
Great.
looked like the alien and Jules kind of looked like the alien design from Close Encounters.
But even then, you don't see the aliens that much in that film,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is covered in the dark lighting to where it doesn't look that creepy to me
Mm-hmm.
in that movie. Whereas this movie is like in the broad daylight, and what they do with it, I'm like, no.
It's kind of weird. I'll go 3. I feel like there is going to be some heart in this, and I feel like that might carry it to something of a good time. But let's continue on to, let's just call it DC's next flop, Blue Beetle. An alien relic chooses Jamie Reyes, or I believe it's Jaime Reyes, to be its symbiotic host, bestowing the teenager with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero Blue Beetle. Yeah, this trailer did not look super great, and I don't want to come across as too harsh, but just yeah, I'm not in love with this. I'm not in love with this one, Jacob. What did you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's been 2 trailers for this movie now, and none of the trailers did anything for me. Like, this film looks like a super disposable, super generic, run of the mill comic book movie, and not in a memorable way. Like, as much as Black Adam was a disposable film, I at least enjoyed it for what it was. I felt like I got my money's worth out of that movie. Whereas this movie, I don't know the character. The character just looks like a hodgepodge of other comic book movie characters that I feel like have done it better, like Iron Man, for instance. I mean, the family aspect could be promising, but I feel like we've already covered basics with that in Shazam, and Shazam, I feel like, was a much more satisfying experience because of the cast involved. Whereas this one, you got George Lopez calling Batman a fascist. Like, that's a weird joke. Why are you doing that? It's your DC movie, and you're doing a weird joke that makes no sense. So I don't know where you're going with this. It just looks very forgettable. The trailers have done nothing for me. Maybe it could be a surprise movie for DC. I don't know, but given their track record this year, I don't think this one's gonna reignite any success from the studio until we get Superman Legacy in a couple of years. But as for me, I'm only gonna go 2 on Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I've seen Batman the Brave and the Bold, the TV show, so I know who Blue Beetle is. I feel like with this movie, it's like it's like the suit of Iron Man with the expressive face of the Deadpool movie, and just feels like it's giving me Venom vibes, like the 2018 Venom. And I don't hate that movie, but that's not the vibes you want. That is all that I will say. I'm going to go 2 as well. I don't think this one will turn the ship around. But let us move now right along to a movie I'm definitely not looking forward to seeing, Strays. An abandoned dog teams up with other strays to get revenge on his former owner. I'm just going to be straight up honest and say that if I could give this a 0, I could. I think this movie looks like crap. It looks like the Jackass crew, like Steve-O and all of them, decided to recreate Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. Like, Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey is severely underrated from Disney, and this just looks like garbage. So, hard pass from me. Jacob, what do you think?
What, are you kidding, Ryan? I think the idea of an R-rated talking animal movie is going to be the best. I cannot wait to see this movie. 5 out of 5 all the way. I'm kidding, by the way. This movie.
I figured that.
This movie looks trash.
And think of the cast that's involved in this: Jamie Foxx, Will Ferrell, Sofia Vergara, Isla Fisher, Randall Park, Will Forte, Josh Gad. There's some funny people here. And I just, like, watching the trailer was just like, that's it. That was my expression.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my whole thing with this, and I think we've talked about this the last time, the last times we talked about R-rated comedies. Like they're trying too hard. I feel like to be edgy for the sake of being edgy. The R-rated comedies that work, yeah, they might get a little raunchy at times, but that's not the main focus of what they're going for. It's more so the characters and the angle of the story always came first. And I enjoy movies like the Blues Brothers and Blazing Saddles and Tropic Thunder for those reasons. And the Deadpool movies, I guess count as R-rated comedies too, if you think about it. But here it's just like crash joke, crash joke, crash joke, crash joke, and that's all they're doing the whole trailer. It's like not really a story. I just think the doing it as a talking animal movie is just stupid. I don't know what idiot came up with that, but it looks awful. I'm gonna go 1 as well.
I think we're both being very generous with that. Aaron's back. And yes, you'll meet Blue Beetle for 1 episode of Smallville, but not till season 10. Interesting. I had no idea Blue Beetle was in Smallville. But yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, just adds to my general just kind of ambivalence towards Will Ferrell as a comedian. I'm sure he has his fans. I guess I'm just not one of them. But let's move on. Back to Netflix with The Monkey King. Inspired by an epic Chinese tale, translated into an action-packed comedy, a monkey and his magical fighting stick battle demons, dragons, gods, and the greatest adversary of all, Monkey's ego. So, Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Oh, man, I want to give this a higher score than what I'm going to give it because visually the movie looks cool. I think the film has potential with its mythology and with the action sequences, and I'm hoping it's at least going to be a fun time. It's funny when you read the synopsis, you talked about the monkey's ego, and that was one of the big red flags I have when watching the trailer because even in the trailer, I'm like, this guy's obnoxious. I'm not caring for this character just in the trailer. It didn't look like. It just looked like they're going to go too far with it. And I'm hated in movies where you have a character who's an unlikable jerk face for most of the movie. And then, like, near the end, you have to start feeling sympathetic for the character. And when it's done really bad, like, let's say Will Smith Fish in Shark Tale, it's too little too late. That's like the big turn off I have for this movie. If that's a plot point they established in the film early on and it's part of his character journey, then that's one thing. And I hope the movie will prove me wrong because Netflix actually, low-key, has a pretty good track record of animated movies. Klaus is really good. Over the Moon was really good. The Sea Beast, which came out last year, I thought was a hidden gem.
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Mitchell's versus Machines, but I credit that more so to Sony Pictures Animation than I do Netflix. But the Monkey King has potential, but right now I'm seeing some red flags, and hopefully it'll prove me wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. For now, I'm going to go 3 on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 too, and I think I wanted to like it, but I feel like it's like the monkey is going to be just an aggressive jerk, and then the movie's gonna try and make us like him. So that's pretty much it. But I'm slightly optimistic because Netflix does have a very good track record with animation. There's no getting around that. So here's to hoping that it's anyway good. But let's steer back into the weird with Landscape with Invisible Hand. This sounds like an Iron Fist episode title. Landscape with Invisible Hand. When an occupying alien species, bureaucratic rule, and advanced technology leaves most of Earth impoverished and unemployed, two teenagers hatch a risky plan to ensure their family's futures. So, Jacob, with a poster like this, with I can't quite tell what that is specifically, but like, can you or can you make heads or tails of what that is, Jacob? It like
I assume that was some kind of an alien life form, but
like
that is a weird design.
looks like
But
Mr. Krabs.
a little bit if they decided to do a live action remake of SpongeBob. Paramount don't do that, by the way.
Yeah, please don't do that.
But I will say it looks less horrifying. It looks less horrifying than the Jules thing, and it doesn't look near as lifeless as Sebastian in the live action Little Mermaid. So I gotta give it credit for that at least.
Yeah, that's a low bar to climb over. But I could have sworn this was an A24 movie too, but it's not. It's MGM and Annapurna. So MGM is definitely dipping their toes into more of the weird stuff.
Yeah, as weird as the movie looks, the premise did intrigue me with what they're doing with like the alien stuff and using uh, entertainment to control the people, or I think is what they're trying to go with this in the premise. And then the romance angle, I thought like looked sweet enough. I feel like that might be the glue that drives such a weird story. Kind of like, Everything Everywhere All at Once was a weird movie, but what made that movie work emotionally was the family angle. The family angle was done very well in that film. And I don't think this movie's going to be as epic as Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I hope it's at least enjoyable and it delivers on its premise. So I'm going to go 3.5 on this one.
I'm gonna go 3, and I feel like the weirdness might carry it home. I thought the poster was a giraffe head. Looking closer, I have no idea.
Giraffe.
It's like the Toys R Us giraffe in disguise or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, definitely weird stuff. But the one constant in life is like 3 constants: death, taxes, and Liam Neeson. It's retribution. A bank executive receives a bomb threat while driving his children to school that his car will explode if they stop and get out. So, yeah, like Jacob Collins mentioned in the live chat, it's definitely giving off some Speed vibes, but I like Speed, and I honestly kind of liked this trailer. Jacob, what did you think?
Yeah, I did definitely felt Speed vibes when watching a trailer. Not to knock on Speed. That's a really great movie, by the way, Keanu Reeves. I did like the concept of the trailer, but what turned me off when watching it was that I feel like they might have given away too much of the tension in the trailer, where like some of the intense moments with Liam Neeson in the car making decisions, and there was one decision I'm like, they should not have shown that whole scene in the trailer. They should have saved that for the movie. Then that kind of frustrated me when watching the trailer. But I don't know. I like Liam Neeson, even with him in these like this weird flex he's in, where he's in these like disposable action films. Some of them are actually fun to watch. A lot of which is because of the charisma of Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
But this one, even though I wasn't a fan of the trailer, maybe giving away a little too much, this one looks decently fun. I'm gonna go 3 on this one.
I'm gonna go 3 as well. Liam Neeson movies, to me, they're just kind of fun on a lizard brain level. Like Liam Neeson's very much dialed in on the Liam Neeson formula. From Taken up to now, he's pretty much like figured out what works with him, and he has just steered into that, which is oddly kind of admirable. But we've only got a couple more left, so let's dive into bottoms. 2 unpopular queer high school students, I'm reading this off of IMDb, so that's what the IMDb description says, start a fight club to have sex before graduation. As soon as this trailer ended, I said to myself, I cannot wait to see what Jacob thinks of this one. So, Jacob, the floor is yours.
To
This
me,
is an
this
easy.
looked
This is
just as
an
awful. To me, this looked just as awful as the Strays movie. I'm not gonna lie.
oh
Oh
wow.
my, this
I thought
looked.
it would have been an easy 5 for you.
No, again, this just looks like another R-rated comedy where you're trying way too hard on your crass humor and your R-rated jokes, and just the whole movie and it going to that level just looked very forced and very cringe. That's all I'm going to say there. And also, why are you doing Fight Club with this? Like, this looks no
Yeah.
one. Just that alone gave it an easy one.
Yeah, for sure. And it just like I see what they're going for and I admire the intention. I just think the execution is poor. Like that's all I will say about that. But moving right along, this is the last couple of ones. First up, the retirement plan. In the retirement plan, when Ashley and her young daughter Sarah get caught up in a criminal enterprise that puts their lives at risk, she turns to the only person who can help, her estranged father Matt, Nicolas Cage, currently living the life of a retired beach bum in the Cayman Islands. Are we sure this is not autobiographical? Their reunion is fleeting as they are soon tracked down on the island by crime boss Donnie, Jackie Earl Haley, and his lieutenant Bobo, Ron Perlman. As Ashley, Sarah, and Matt become entangled in an increasingly dangerous web, Ashley quickly learns her father had a secret past that she knew nothing about, and that there is more to her father than meets the eye. Someone play Lincoln Park. But yeah, Jay, what did you think of this?
First off, I did not know this movie was coming out, and you know how much I enjoy Nicolas Cage. This movie looks fun. I think it sounds like it's kind of like John Wick if it was Nicolas Cage.
That
Kind of
sounds
like
awesome.
kind of like in the Nicolas Cage type of if Nicolas Cage was playing a John Wick type character, and that's an easy sell for me. And just the whole idea of like assassin turned beach bum just sounds hilarious to me that only Nicolas Cage could pull off. And so I have high hopes for this movie. I'm going to go 4.
I'm gonna go 3. I feel like there was certain parts of it like definitely feels generic, but I mean, if anything will carry this, it's the cast. I mean, Nicolas Cage, Ron Perlman, Jackie Earle Haley, or
Yeah, Jackie Earl Haley, I think, is in the movie.
him. I call him Hurl Haley because it's late at night. But let's round things off and close things off the August preview with The Hill, the remarkable true life story of Ricky Hill's improbable journey to Major League Baseball. So I'm going to go 4 on this one, just tipping my hand right now. I love this trailer. It legit made me choke up a bit. I had no idea of this story. I was not prepared for it. I saw this poster and I was thinking to myself, okay, Dennis Quaid is in a movie about someone who isn't supposed to be in baseball, but yet is in baseball. This kind of like feels like The Rookie almost, the 2002 Disney movie with him in it. And it gives off very eerie vibes of that. But I love this trailer two pieces. And like I said, it made me choke up a little bit. If I'm alone in that, I'll die alone on that hill. But Jacob, what did you think?
Well, we're actually in agreement. I'm giving this a 4 as well.
Nice.
Um, it could be a generic sports movie,
Sure.
but I am a sucker for some of these sports movies, especially someone like me who's not a real sports guy. Like if there's something special about the person and it's focused on that more than the sport, those are the ones I really get into. Like Remember the Titans is a great example of that. Like I don't go to Remember the Titans saying, "Oh, I love it because it's a good football story." No, because it's a great character movie of
Mm-hmm.
teamwork and unity. I love the message of that movie. The Hill could be very generic, but when I saw in the trailer it was from the writer who did Rudy and Hoosiers, I'm like, this movie's in good hands. I think I think it's going to be a good sleeper hit. I hope people don't sleep on this one. I hope people do give this one a chance, and this one actually does well. So I'm going to go 4.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going for 2. The trailer, like it said, it legit made me choke up. So here's to hoping that this one is actually good. But yeah, that's the end of the August preview. Certainly no shortage of interesting ones. A couple duds, it seems like, but maybe a couple ones that might be surprising. But I passed off to all of you in the live chat or in the replay later. Is there a movie that this month that you're looking forward to? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Jacob, it's a privilege to do this with you every week. Like I said, you'll be in my Saw review kicking off the road to Saw 10, but do you have anything coming to your channel?
Well, first off, earlier in the day, as of this stream, I uploaded my review of A Man Called Otto, which I thought was a good movie. And then I think later this week, I will. The only other review I'm going to have up this week is my celebrating Disney review of Flubber with Robin Williams. I will talk about that. And then I'll do some other uploads next week, which will be some of the last ones on from the last What I've Watched live stream. I think moving into the next week, I think I'll do my next What I've Watched. And I think we're going to do, I'm planning starting to plan a live stream with Jacob Collins next week. We're going to be doing our live discussion on Scream 6 is what we got in the pipeline coming
That
up.
sounds like fun.
Because I've not seen that one yet. We've been covering the Scream film since I first got into the franchise, so it's gonna be it's gonna be good talking about that one when I do get the chance to watch it. You can also, of course, follow me on Letterboxd, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah, all those links will be in the description. As for this channel, like I said, Friday, Road to Saw 10 begins. Jacob Martin will... Yes, Jacob Martin will be joining me to start off the road. Jacob Collins will be joining me for a couple of those. I expect it's going to be interesting and quite a bit of fun, to say the least. You got one more comment. Aaron White, for Fathom Events, they're doing the 50th anniversary of Enter the Dragon this month.
Wow.
I actually have the DVD back there somewhere. I have never seen it.
So, I've seen it once. It's okay. I think the action is more memorable than the story.
You know, another aspect I want to bring back to the channel that I kind of stopped doing was my I finally watched / Better Than You Remember series. I had a whole master list lined up of ones that I wanted to do for that. But then, like, anniversaries and other things got caught in the way. So that's a series I definitely want to... a recurring thing that I want to go back to, kind of tying things back to when I started this stream. But Friday's Road to Saw 10, beginning with Saw 1. And then Smallville podcast will be dropping this coming Tuesday. We'll be covering season 1, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Looking forward to discussing that. And if you like the video, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell to allow notifications, so when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. For Jacob Martin, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you in the next one. You all have a very good night.
Good night.
And now...